Hello.
Good morning, sir.
So today we have to do a lot of patchwork. Before we take up any patchwork, I want to examine whether we are clear about this idea. According to Raoult's law, the lowering of vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to approximately mole fraction of solute given by number of moles of solute by number of moles of solvent. Notice here I have ignored the number of moles of solute. That is for approximation. Do you know that? Actually, I could have written number of moles of solute plus number of moles of solvent. But here I can ignore. No? Why I can ignore, sir?
Because solutions are dilute.
Yeah. Therefore, number of moles of solute is given by weight of solute by molecular weight of solute into number of moles of solvent is given by weight of solvent divided by molecular weight of solvent. So if I know this, if I know this, I can find this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let us directly see the application of this idea. We have just solved a problem in the NCERT book, and then we go to next. There it is. Here. Look at this problem. Look at this problem, sir. Is it within our reach?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the vapor pressure of pure benzene here, solvent is benzene, not water. Its molecular weight is 78. At a certain temperature is 0.850 bars. A non-volatile, non-electrolyte solute weighing 0.5 grams when added to 39 grams of benzene. The vapor pressure of the solution then is 0.845 bars. What is the molar mass of the solid substance? So apply the formula P0 minus P by P0. 0.850 minus 0.845 divided by 0.850 is equal to weight of the solute, that is 39 grams. The weight of the solid is 0.5 grams divided by its molecular weight, I don't know, into 78 by 39. Notice that the molecular weight can be computed as 170 grams per mole. Can you see it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it is likely to be glucose. Glucose molecular weight is 180. Answer is 170. When you are doing experiment, slight variation will come because of the experimental errors. But we don't know. Are we very clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Sir, I want you to kindly notice the examples for solution showing positive deviation, solution showing negative deviation from Raoult's law. The list is there, sir. You know, where is the list? Here is the list, sir. Yep. Carbon tetrachloride benzene, carbon tetrachloride chloroform, carbon tetrachloride toluene, acetone carbon disulfide, acetone ethyl alcohol, acetone benzene, methyl alcohol, water, ethyl alcohol plus water. What do they show, sir?
Positive
They show
deviation.
positive deviation. Positive deviation means what, sir? Their vapor pressure is more than the expected value. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When I am adding methyl alcohol to water, hydrogen bonds in the water are broken by methyl alcohol. Therefore, the vapor pressure increases. In acetone, there are some dipole-dipole attractions which are disturbed by benzene. In ethyl alcohol, there are hydrogen bonds which are disturbed by acetone. In acetone, there are some van der Waals attraction, dipole-dipole attractions which are disturbed by your carbon disulfide. So all these are examples which show positive deviation. For negative deviation examples, one should be like acidic, other should be like basic so that they attract each other. Look at the examples like HCl plus water, HNO3 plus water, acetone plus aniline, and chloroform plus diethyl, either chloroform plus benzene, chloroform plus acetone. These are some examples. There is no shortcut to remember them. At least you remember one or two. At least it is worthwhile to examine chloroform with a CCl4 shows positive deviation. Chloroform with all others here, chloroform with acetone, benzene diethyl ether. With all this, it will show negative deviation. Chloroform generally shows negative deviation. Only one exception is chloroform and CCl4. Can you see it, sir? Try to remember some examples. Sir, what is a azeotrope? Hello, what is an azeotrope? A azeotrope is a solution which has same composition in liquid phase and in vapor phase. Normally, the solution phase composition would be different in vapor phase, but for azeotrope it is same. Can you give an example for azeotrope? Yes, 95.6% alcohol and 4.4% water. He gave approximately. This mixture is having lowest boiling point. Some azeotropes have higher boiling point than individual fellows. Example, 68% nitric acid, 32% water. Sir, what is a colligative property? A property that depends on the number of particles of solute but not on its nature. The number of particles of solute again are dependent on the molecular weight. The more is the molecular weight, the less will be the number of particles in a given mass. Suppose if I take 1 gram of urea, 1 gram of glucose, which has more molecules, sir? Hello.
Glucose.
1 gram of glucose I have taken, 1 gram of urea I have taken, 1 gram of water I have taken, which has more molecules, sir. Number of molecules is given by weight by molecular weight into Avogadro number. So weight I have taken 1 gram throughout. For water, number of molecules is equal to 1 by 18 whole into Avogadro number. For glucose, it is 1 by 180 into Avogadro number. For urea, it is 1 by 60 into Avogadro number. Should I work it out or what? Hello. My query. I think you are not with me. Please try to be with me, sir. Please. I have taken 1 gram water. I have taken 1 gram glucose. I have taken 1 gram urea. If you want to know number of molecules, what is the weight, sir? Given weight by molecular weight will give me number of moles. Number of moles into Avogadro number will give me number of molecules. Am I very clear about it, sir? Therefore, now in each case, it is 1 by 18 into Avogadro number. It is 1 by 180 into Avogadro number. It is 1 by 60 into Avogadro number. Which is more, sir?
1 by 18.
So I don't know, you are not able to answer this question. If I take 1 gram of water, 1 gram of glucose, 1 gram of urea, which has highest number of molecules means water. The less is gram molecular weight, less is gram molecular weight, more is number of molecules. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if I take 1 gram hydrogen, 1 gram nitrogen, 1 gram oxygen, 1 gram xenon, which has more molecules?
Hydrogen, sir.
Because its molecular weight is 2, it is 28, it is 36, and it is how much, sir? Xenon. Xenon molecular weight is, atomic weight is how much, sir? Something like 120, right? Hello. Hello. Therefore, I was wondering that the colligative property is a property that depends on the number of moles or number of particles of a solute. Number of particles of a solute is inversely proportional to molecular weight. Therefore, colligative properties are inversely proportional to molecular weight. Yes or no? Hello. Colligative property means a property of solution that depends on the number of particles of solute. Example for colligative property, relative lowering of vapor pressure. The another example for colligative property, increase in boiling point of a solution. That is called elevation in boiling point. Another colligative property, decrease in freezing point of a solution, delta TF. The fourth colligative property is osmotic pressure. All these colligative properties are dependent on the number of particles of solute. Let us see that. What is RLVP? Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Let us take this problem. Can you solve this, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Look at the problem number, worked out example number 5. The relative lowering of vapor pressure of an aqueous solution containing non-volatile solute is 0.0125. Calculate the molality of solution. Do you know that relative lowering of vapor pressure is actually equal to mole fraction of solute? So mole
Yes.
fraction of solute is 0.0125. Once you know mole fraction of solute, what is molality, sir? Hello. What is the relation between the molality and mole fraction of solute, please? Hello? Sir, write down the formula. Molality is equal to mole fraction into 1000 divided by molecular weight of solvent. That's a shortcut formula you can think of. Always you can use the formula. Molality is equal to mole fraction of the solute into 1000 divided by molecular weight of solvent. Apply the formula, you get molality. Got it, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Please remember the formula. Molality is equal to 1000 into mole fraction of solute divided by molecular weight of solvent. Okay, sir? Now let us look at a corrugative property called elevation boiling point. I want to confine myself to NCERT book. Sir, if you take sea water and river water, which will have higher boiling point?
Seawater, sir.
Boiling point means the temperature where the vapor pressure of a liquid is equal to that of atmospheric pressure. For pure water, at 100 degrees centigrade, that is 373.15 K, the vapor pressure of the water will be equal to 1 atmosphere or 1.013 bar. Therefore, at this temperature, we say water is boiling. But the moment I dissolve a solute, more is the concentration of the solution, more is the molality of the solution, lower is the vapor pressure. Lower is the vapor pressure, I need more heating to equate the vapor pressure to that of atmospheric pressure. Therefore, the boiling point instead of 100 will become 102, 103, 104, 105. You need to heat it to a higher degree to make the vapor pressure equal to 1.013 bar. Therefore, the increase in temperature you need to provide, increase in boiling point delta Tb is proportional to concentration of the solution. Concentration of the solution is expressed in molality. Therefore, delta Tb is proportional to molality. More molality, more particles, less vapor pressure, more heating. So delta Tb is proportional to, the rise in boiling point is proportional to molality. Delta Tb is equal to a constant into molality. That constant is called Kb. Molal elevation in boiling point constant. Notice that delta Tb is equal to Kb into m. Delta Tb is equal to Kb into m. It means delta Tb is equal to Kb when Sir, I am waiting for you to answer. When delta TB is equal to Kb, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, when delta TB is equal to Kb, sir? This is the relation.
When m equals to 1.
Molality is 1.
So
Molality
for
equals
one
to-
molal solution, the elevation in boiling point is called Kb. Hence, Kb is molal elevation in boiling point constant. What could be the unit of Kb, sir? The product of Kb and molality unit must be equal to delta T, that is Kelvin. What could be the unit of Kb? Sir,
Kelvin kg per mole.
Kelvin divided by unit of molality. K kg per mole. K kg per mole. K kg per mole is the unit of Kb. It is called molal elevation in boiling point constant or ebuloscopic constant. Both are same. Sir, the molality is defined as weight of the solute divided by molecular weight into 1000 by weight of solvent in grams. Do you remember that formula? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if I apply that formula, weight of solute by molecular weight into 1000 by weight of solvent in grams is molality. Therefore, delta TB is equal to Kb into molality. Instead of molality, you can write 1000 W2 by M2 into W1. Using this relationship, can I find out M2, sir? I know the weight of solute. I know the weight of solvent. I know the molality of solution. I don't know only molecular weight of solute. So can I find out the molecular weight of solute M2 using this relation? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I take a white solid which is soluble in water. I take 20 grams, say, I dissolve it in 100 grams of water, and then I start finding its boiling point using a thermometer. Instead of water boiling at 100 degrees, it started boiling at 1 or 2 degrees. So delta TB is equal to 2. And weight of solute I dissolved is 20 grams. And molecular weight of solute, really I don't know. So it is W2 by M2. But I clearly know I have taken 100 grams of water. Therefore, I know delta TB. I know Kb for water. I know weight of the salt I have taken. I know the weight of the water I have taken. Can I find out M2, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Simple, no? But I want to exactly know what exactly Kb is. Kb is called molal elevation boiling point constant, and thermodynamics has given me poor fish. Kb is nothing but related to the heat of vaporization. What is Kb has not been discussed in NCERT book. Let me see whether they discussed anywhere else. In fact, I want you to notice what is Kb. Kb is related to latent heat of vaporization. Kb is given by, yes, not given clearly. NCERT book has not specified the value of Kb, but I must specify the value of Kb. Okay. Kb is related to delta H. What is delta H, sir? Delta H means latent heat of vaporization. Kb is equal to RT square, where R is universal gas constant. T is the boiling temperature of the water, and this is the relationship of, I will go back once. I'll go to my notes. There is my notes. Yep, here it is. Kb is equal to RT0 by delta H vap. R is universal gas constant. T is the normal boiling point of water, that is 100 degrees centigrade, which is to be taken as 373.15 K. And delta H vap is latent heat of vaporization. You know, whenever any liquid is becoming vapor, at a constant temperature, it would absorb some heat energy to change liquid state to gaseous state. This heat energy absorbed cannot be measured in thermometer. That amount of heat energy absorbed per mole of any substance to change from liquid state to gaseous state at a constant temperature is called latent heat of vaporization. I repeat, you take water, you start heating it. As you are heating, temperature is rising. As heat absorbed, temperature rises. More heat absorbed, more temperature rises. Now, the temperature rises up to 100 degrees centigrade. At 100 degrees centigrade, it is absorbing heat energy, but your thermometer is showing only 100 degrees centigrade. So, where the heat energy has gone, sir?
Sir, once again, can you repeat, sir?
You take water, you start heating it, heat energy is absorbed. So thermometer shows increase in temperature. Again heat energy is absorbed. Again temperature is rising. Again heat energy is absorbed. The temperature is rising. But when the temperature reaches 100 degrees centigrade, water starts boiling. Then heat energy is absorbed. Water is boiling, but temperature is only 100 degrees. I heated for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Heat energy is going in, water is continuing to boil, but temperature remain only 100 degrees centigrade. Then where the heat energy is going, sir?
It's being used by all of the water molecules.
The heat energy cannot be measured in thermometer, though it is absorbed, because the absorbed heat energy is consumed in changing liquid state to gaseous state. The heat energy, which cannot be measured by anybody, but it is consumed to change from one phase to the other phase, is called latent heat. It is called latent heat of vaporization, or we call delta H vap. If that green color is not visible to you, let me use black color. Kb is equal to RT square, RT0 square, normal boiling point into latent heat of vaporization. Sir, if I am putting delta H vap, I am saying the amount of heat energy absorbed for phase transition per mole. If I write L, then this is latent heat of vaporization per gram. If you multiply LV with 1 mole molecular mass, you will get delta H vap. Are we very clear, sir?
Sir, delta is positive, negative. What is that, sir?
Think it over. Will it be positive or negative? Is it heat energy? Is it heat energy absorbed, or is it heat energy released?
Absorbed, sir.
Anything absorbed, anything going in is taken as positive in chemistry.
Okay.
Can ionization energy be is negative or positive?
Negative, sir.
Stupid fellow. Ionization energy means energy consumed by an atom
Sorry,
to
sir.
release the electron. Can ionization
Sir, yeah,
energy be
delta
negative
is
or positive?
Sir, here how is delta H calculated?
delta S, sir.
Delta H,
Delta F.
vaporization. In order to become vapor, heat energy is absorbed or released.
Observed.
So it must be positive.
Delta is also positive, sir.
Delta S,
Yes, sir.
delta S is positive because
Reason, sir?
always randomization is increasing.
Okay.
Sir, in this particular expression, latent heat of vaporization is positive. I am not talking of delta H of solution. When I am dissolving salt, whether heat energy is released or absorbed, I am not talking that. Notice that delta H solution is different from delta H vaporization. Delta H solution can be negative for some salts. It can be positive for some salts. I am not worried of latent heat of dissolution of a salt. I am not talking of heat of dissolution of a salt. I am talking of latent heat of vaporization. This is positive. This can be negative or this can be positive, I don't know. Okay, sir? If you are
Yes.
dissolving glucose, solution become cool, delta H is positive. If you are dissolving washing soda, solution become hot, delta H is negative. Heat of solution is different. It is not heat of solution. It is called latent heat of vaporization. So Kb is equal to RT0 divided by delta H vap.
Sir, how did we come to this conclusion that Kb is equals to RT0?
This is being done by thermodynamics. People who studied thermodynamics have proved it by experiment. The consideration of that is beyond our scope, so we are not going there. So I spoke to you about what is this idea. What is that, sir? Sir, if we are getting disconnected, I try to log in again because in the tab charge is very low. Okay,
So
sir?
what is this down one, sir?
What did you say?
Graph.
What graph? This graph?
Yes.
I am plotting this graph. Now you want to plot the vapor pressure of a liquid and temperature. If you are raising temperature, the solid vapor pressure sharply increases. At this point, the solid melts into liquid, say ice melts into water, then its vapor pressure will increase. At this 100 degrees centigrade, vapor pressure of pure water is equal to 1 atmosphere. It is boiling. Now, if I dissolve some urea in water, its vapor pressure is lowered. Its vapor pressure of solution is like this. It is, for example, at this temperature 100 degrees, this is the vapor pressure of solution.
In urea.
So if you want to equate the vapor pressure of solution to 1 atmosphere, you have to further heat. Only at this temperature, say 105, its vapor pressure is equal to 1 atmosphere. So pure water is boiling at 100 degrees. Your solution is boiling at 105. Difference between these two is called elevation in boiling point. This elevation in boiling point depends on the lowering in vapor pressure. To what extent vapor pressure is lowered? This extent of lowering of vapor pressure depends on the number of moles of solute you have taken or how many particles of solute is there. More is the number of particles of non-volatile solute, lesser is the vapor pressure. Lesser is the vapor pressure, you require more heat. Therefore, this graph depicts that the elevation in boiling point is directly proportional to molality of solute. It proves that delta Tb is equal to Kb into M. Kb is called molal elevation in boiling point constant. Are we very clear, sir? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Clear, sir.
Any moment it will be switched
Sir,
off.
should we join again?
What is the time now? 11:36 only. No? There's a lot of time. Why you will not join? You will join. Okay?
Sir, you end meetings, I will join again.
What did you? Yeah. I will be ending the meeting and I will putting it for charging. I will do 2 things at a time. Wait for a minute, we will rejoin. Okay?
End now, sir.
This is very important. Today's class is very, very important. You can't say no to it, for God's sake. 22. Slowly people are improving, man. Let us hope that everybody will join. Let us hope. Now, in this, can we use a screen? No. So can you minimize meeting? Live stream to YouTube. Disconnect to audio. Raise your hand. Okay, I'm new to this mobile operation. Johnny, hello. Can you give me pen? Pen పుస్తకం చాలా కష్టంగా ఉంది. Just wait, sir. Yeah. Slowly people are joining, man. Slowly. They are joining, no doubt. ఏదో ఒకటి తెచ్చుకున్నాను ఫస్ట్ తెచ్చేసుకో. Sir, can you see the notebook? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? So we just now said that delta TB is equal to KB into M.
Sir, it is blurred, sir.
Is it visible, sir?
Now it is clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
And now we agreed upon that KB is equal to what, sir? RT0 square by delta H web. Sir, what is molality? I can say KB is equal to RT0 square by delta H web into molality is equal to weight of solute by molecular weight of solute into 1000 by weight of solvent. Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. In an experiment, you all know that this is equal to delta TB. It is KB value. Delta TB is equal to KB into M. Instead of KB, you can write the above value. Delta TB is equal to what is KB, sir? Hello?
RT naught square divided by HB.
Square by
Delta
delta
H
H web
That's vapor.
into molality is given by weight of solute by molecular
solute by
weight
molecular
into
weight of-
1000 by weight of water. Solvent mass. Suppose you know solvent mass, you know weight of solute, you know the value of KB, then you know delta TB. Can you find out M? Hello?
Yes, sir.
The KB value is constant for a given liquid. The KB value for water, for 1 mole of solute, if you dissolve, is 0.52 kg per mole. For ethanol, it is 1.20 kg per mole. For cyclohexane,
So should we
its
remember
value
this?
is 2.79. Like that, so many values are given for different liquids in NCERT book. You would see, if I will quickly read the values of KB, whenever I dissolve 1 mole of any solute in 1 kg of water, its boiling point increases by 0.52. If I dissolve 1 mole of any solute in 1 kg of ethanol, its boiling point increases by 1.2. If I dissolve 1 mole of any solute in carbon tetrachloride, its boiling point increases by 5.03 Kelvin. 5.03. You understand? Therefore, it is easy to do an experiment with the carbon tetrachloride because elevation in boiling point is high. Different liquids have different elevation in boiling point constants. Of all the liquids given in NCERT book, CCl4 has highest elevation boiling point and water has lowest elevation boiling point. But one point is for sure. If you dissolve 1 mole of urea in 1 kg water, if you dissolve 1 mole of sucrose in 1 kg water, if you dissolve 1 mole of lactose in 1 kg water, always the boiling point increases by 0.52. The elevation in boiling point constant depends on the nature of solvent, but not on the nature of solute. For different solvents, Kb value is different. Kb value never depends on temperature. It is a characteristic feature of a given liquid. Are we very clean about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, sir, if I am dissolving some salt in water, normally water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. Water freezes at what temperature, sir? 0 degrees centigrade or 273.15 Kelvin. However, if I dissolve any solute in water, the solution will never freeze at 0 degrees. The freezing point drops. It will become -2 degrees, -1 degree centigrade, -3 degrees centigrade. Like that, the freezing point drops. The drop in freezing point depends on the number of moles of solute dissolved. That is called as colligative property. A property that depends on the number of particles, but not on its nature, is called colligative property. Therefore, the drop in freezing point is known as depression in freezing point. The depression in freezing point is represented by delta TF. Delta TF is also equal to Kf into M, where Kf is called Molar depression in freezing point constant, or otherwise known as the cryoscopic constant. Cryoscopic constant is also similar to Kb. It is equal to.
So what is the second one, sir?
First one is Kb.
Kb.
Elevation in boiling point constant. Second one is Kf, depression in freezing point constant or cryoscopic constant. You know that Kb is equal to RT0 by HVAP. Here Kf is equal to RTF square by delta H fuse. Here TF means normal melting point. And normal melting point of ice is 0 degrees centigrade. And in the denominator, delta H fuse means latent heat of fusion. Whenever a solid is fused or whenever a solid is melting into liquid, some heat energy is absorbed for phase transition. That is called latent heat of fusion. So boiling has latent heat of vaporization, whereas melting has latent heat of fusion. So both are similar. Boiling point is increasing, freezing point is decreasing. Boiling point depends on molality, freezing point also depends on molality. Delta TB is equal to Kb into M. Delta TF is equal to Kf into M. Units of Kb is kkg per mole. Units of Kf is also kkg per mole. But their values can be different. For example, for water, elevation in boiling point constant Kb is 0.52, whereas depression freezing point constant is 1.86. Another example, for your carbon tetrachloride, elevation boiling point constant value is 5.03, whereas depression freezing point constant is 31.8. It means if I dissolve 1 mole of any solute in CCl4, its freezing point drops by 31 degrees centigrade. Notice. So this is a similar way where freezing point drops. Always for a solution, boiling point is more than that of pure water. Freezing point is less than that of pure water. Both are related. Likewise, both of these can be used to find the molecular mass of a solute. Are we very clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, here there is an interesting idea. If I take 1 mole of glucose, how many particles it will have, sir? Hello? If I take
Avogadro
1 mole of
number.
glucose, very good. If I take 1 mole of glucose, 1 mole is having Avogadro number of particles. Now, if I take 1 mole of salt, NaCl, if it completely breaks, how many moles of particles I have, sir? Each one molecule of NaCl will give Na plus and Cl minus 2 ions. Therefore, number of particles will be 2 into Avogadro number. It means ionization is a process where a salt particle breaks into different ions. Therefore, number of particles will increase. Do you agree, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Agree.
Sir, if I dissolve 1 mole of glucose, some glucose molecules are there, some X molecules are there in the surface. So the vapor pressure decreased because of these fellows. But if I dissolve 1 mole of salt here, it will give 2 moles of ions because urea, the glucose is not dissociating. Salt is giving Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus. So the number of particles of NaCl for 1 mole is greater than number of particles per 1 mole of glucose because glucose will not dissociate. NaCl will dissociate. Yes or no, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So the elevation in boiling point is more for NaCl than for glucose, even though I dissolve 1 mole of glucose and 1 mole of salt separately. Don't you think so? Hello?
Yes, sir. Agree.
Now, suppose I take 1 liter water and separately I dissolve 1 mole of glucose, 1 mole of NaCl, 1 mole of CaCl2, 1 mole of AlCl3 separately. Then whose boiling point will be highest, sir?
Sir, once again.
I have taken 1 liter of water separately. In first case, I kept glucose. In second case, I kept NaCl. In third case, I kept CaCl2. In fourth case, I kept AlCl3. Now, which has highest boiling point? All they have, do they have same boiling point?
No, sir.
Or which
No,
will have
sir.
high boiling point?
AlCl3.
Because AlCl3 is giving more particles. Therefore, I would say number of particles after dissolution per 1 mole of AlCl3 is 4. Before dissociation, it is 1 AlCl3, but after dissolving, it gave 1 Al plus 3 and 3 Cl minus 4 particles. Number of particles after dissolution divided by number of particles before dissolution is called want-half factor. What is it called, sir? What is want-half factor for glucose? For glucose, which is not dissociating, want-half
One.
factor is 1. What is want-half factor for aluminum nitrate, AlNO3 taken thrice? If it dissolves 100, if it dissociates 100%,
4.
if it dissociates 100%, its want-half factor will be 4. Suppose if it is dissociating only 75%, then the want-half factor of it will be 75% of 4. What is its want-half factor, sir?
3, sir. 3.
Therefore, the want-half factor or the number of particles after dissolution depends on how many
Sir, one
ions
doubt,
it
sir.
can give, how many ions it can give theoretically, and what is the percentage dissociation. For example, if I take NaCl, per NaCl, how many ions are possible, sir? 2.
2 ions.
Two, sir.
But percentage dissociation depends on many factors like what is the dilution, what is the temperature, so on. Let me take the example of CaCl2. How many ions it can give theoretically?
3.
3, sir.
Theoretically, it can give 3 ions. But is it really 100% dissociating? Is it dissociating
No.
only 50%? If it is dissociating 50%, then the number of ions effectively it can give is
1.5.
only 1. That 1.5 is called want-of factor. So want-of factor, which is represented by I, is actually telling me how many particles are produced after complete dissolution.
Yes.
And if the solution is very dilute, as many particles as possible will be formed. For example, NaCl undergo 100% dissociation in a diluted solution. Obviously, its want-of factor is 2. But want-of factor varies depending on the degree of dissociation. Because of this dissociation, because the number of particles are changing, now delta Tb is equal to IKB into M, where I is called want-of factor. For glucose, urea, sucrose, non-electrolytes, I is 1. For electrolytes like NaCl, CaCl2, MgCl2, AlCl3, I is more than 1. Whenever there is dissociation, I is greater than 1. Mind you that the actual value of I depends on N and also the degree of dissociation, which we see in the next class in the next week. But at the moment, I gave you qualitative idea. Ladies and gentlemen, the I value is greater than 1 if there is dissociation. Whenever the want-of factor value is more than 1, the calculated molecular weight will be less than real molecular weight. Observed molecular weight is less than real molecular weight because want-of factor is more than 1. If want-of factor is exactly equal to 1, if there is no dissociation, no association, experimentally observed molecular weight is equal to calculated molecular weight. For example, NaCl real molecular weight is 58.5. If you are finding the molecular weight of NaCl using elevation in boiling point or using depression in freezing point or using any colligative property, it is not really observed to be 58.5. It will be found to be 29.75, half. Why the molecular weight of salt became half? Because its want-of factor is 2. Why its want-of factor is 2? Because it has dissociated each molecule NaCl gave 2 ions. When there is 100% dissociation, want-of factor of NaCl is 2. Therefore, its real molecular weight is want-of factor into experimental molecular weight, 29.75. Hence, I am concluding that some materials will dissociate due to ionization in water. The dissociation will increase the number of particles. As colligative properties are dependent on the number of particles, their elevation in boiling points will be more than expected. Based on them, if I calculate the molecular weight or experimental data gives me wrong molecular weight. The real molecular weight is my experimental molecular weight into I, where I is called want-of factor. As a general rule, I tell you, whenever there is dissociation, the experimentally observed molecular weight will be less than the real molecular weight. Are we very clear about this, sir? Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Simple idea. Whenever there is a dissociation, a particle will break down to give many particles. If there are many particles, the colligative property would be different from what we expected. So based on the colligative property, you take the experimental data, you make the calculation, and your experiment will show the molecular weight of salt is different from real molecular weight. And now if you want to get real molecular weight, your experimental value is to be multiplied with want-of factor. Want-half factor is representing number of particles after dissociation or dissolution by number of particles before taken. For glucose, for urea, for sucrose, for non-electrolytes, there is no problem. Want-half factor is 1, no issue. There is an issue with the ionic compounds. Are we clear about it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is the want-half factor for CaCl2, 100% dissociation?
3, sir.
3.
Sir.
Therefore, experimental molecular weight appears to be for CaCl2, real molecular weight by 3. So if you want to get real molecular weight, you should multiply the experimental value with 3. Simple. Now, there are some cases like HF, like acetic acid, benzoic acid. These are very strange. 2 acetic acid molecules link up due to hydrogen bond. Instead of number of particles, if I take 1 mole of acetic acid, I expect Avogadro number of molecules. But the experiment shows it is not having Avogadro number of molecules, it has only 50%, 3.01 into 10 to the power 23. Why the number of particles of acetic acid has gone down? Because 2 molecules link up. This is called association. Due to association, number of particles will be less than expected. For example, if you take HF, hydrofluoric acid, 6 molecules link together and it exists as a hexamer due to hydrogen bonds. When so many molecules link up, number of particles will be less than expected. Can you see that really? In a classroom, there are 50 students. If all the 50 students are not linking up with each other, there are 50 students. But if 2 students join and make one group, there cannot be 50 groups. There can be how many groups, sir?
25, sir.
There are only 25 groups. Can you see it really?
Yes, sir.
For example,
Yes, sir.
in a classroom, there are 50 students. Government wanted to give as many students as many ration cards. Because 1 student is 1 family. 50 students, 50 families, 50 ration cards. But unfortunately, out of the 50 students, 25 are boys, 25 are girls. So the boys and girls are decided to get themselves married. Now there are how many families? Means 25 families. So how many ration cards?
25 ration cards.
Notice that association will decrease the number of particles. Therefore, when the number of particles are decreased, colligative property would go different. In that case, whenever there is association, the experimentally observed molecular weight will be more than real molecular weight. For acetic acid, molecular weight appears to be 120 on experiment. Real molecular weight is 60. It became 120 because 2 fellows linked up. To get the real molecular weight in that case, you have to multiply with want-half factor, where want-half factor is half. Whenever 2 fellows join to make a 1 molecule, want-half factor will be 1/2. If 3 fellows link up to join together, then want-half factor will be 1/3. If 6 fellows link up due to association, want-half factor will be 1/6. So want-half factor is less than 1 in association. It is more than 1 in dissociation. Want-half factor often brings about deviation in experimental molecular weight when compared with reality. So we talked to you about colligative properties, about elevation in boiling point, about depression in freezing point, about the relative lowering of vapor pressure and want-half factor. Are we clear about these ideas?
Sir, how do we know that the solute is undergoing association or dissociation?
The nature of solute indicates all ionic compounds try to dissociate, like NaCl, KCl, MgCl2. And wherever there is an organic liquid that can make hydrogen bonding, like acetic acid, benzoic acid, they associate. Association is due to hydrogen bonding. Dissociation is due to ionic nature. If you simply take urea, it is not an ionic compound. Moreover, it is not going to associate. So they say that it is a non-electrolyte, then it is not going to associate or dissociate. They say it is a electrolyte and ionic compound. Understand it dissociates. They say it is acetic acid or benzoic acid. Understand it associates. So by looking at the data, you know whether there is this problem or not. Are we clear?
Yes,
The
sir.
moment they say non-electrolyte, no association, no dissociation won't have factor 1. Okay? All
Yes,
the
sir.
problems are there only for electrolytes. So I have completed this outline so far. One point that is remaining is osmotic pressure, which we discuss next week. But tomorrow we will be doing absolutely problems. Nothing very,
Tomorrow
very
holiday,
few.
sir.
Tomorrow is a holiday. Why?
Moharram.
Oh, if tomorrow is a holiday, what we do is I will make a YouTube video. Please watch it. Okay, sir?
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Today I will make the video. Right now I will make the video. In that video, I will discuss problems. And for God's sake, if you see these problems, you feel more comfortable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.